my Twitch channel. This is a new series that I'm doing called three. What is it called? Top 3 at 3. I already forgot the name of it. And for the first episode, I'm very thrilled, very happy to be joined by my friend Jackie Chao. Hi, Jackie.
Hi, everyone. How are you?
Sure,
Thanks for inviting me, Raul.
Yeah, yes, thank you. Jackie is the host of Show Me How to Win, and you can find her on all the socials, YouTube, Twitter, Facebook, and all the things, Instagram, and all the things. What this show's about, I just wanted to connect with my fellow content creators here via the wonders of the internet. Just hang out, chat, and talk about their journey into board games. And then we're at the end of, halfway through the show, we're going to transition into a top 3. So today we're going to be doing a fun little category called the top 3 dice worker games that that Jackie and I enjoy. But we're going to get to that later. First, Jackie, thanks again for hanging out with me today. How are you?
I'm great. How are you?
I'm good. It's hot, so
yeah, we're both in California, so SoCal, so we know it's getting hot in here.
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah, way too hot. I want to talk to you, Jackie. So we've known each other for a little while now. I think we first met at Game House Cafe, if I'm not mistaken, or maybe it could have been a convention.
We met through Jack.
Yes, we did. Yes,
and it was their 5th anniversary, wasn't it? Yeah.
That's a year or 2 ago.
2 years ago.
Yeah.
Well, it wasn't last year. It was the year before.
Right. Yeah. So we met at Game House Cafe, and I had already been a fan of Jackie's before then. And again, folks, go Show Me How to Play to Win. It's terrific. And I'm gonna have Jackie talk about it. Jackie, talk about. Well, let's back up. I'm gonna back up first. How did you get into modern board games?
Modern board games. So for me, the journey starts with, long story short, Magic the Gathering. But before that, I've always played Bridge and Tichu in Taiwan. I grew up in Taiwan. So I was one of those students who I would be playing cards at the back of the classroom when the teacher is talking about some subject that I'm not interested in. So we had the book in front of us, and we'd be like playing cards in the back, and we'll hit the cafes after school, and we'd be like playing mahjong. So I've always been really competitive, and I enjoy the intellectual competition, but no money involved. I like that. So when you're playing a lot of these games, the traditional games, it's not fun unless you bid something, right? So when I come into contact with Magic the Gathering, I was immediately drawn to it because you when you're doing a draft, everyone started on an even playing field, and it really is just like how well you know the game. It's an intellectual battle, and there's always a winner. So but then the more I play Magic, the more I realize this is a pay to win sort of game sport. Yeah. So the more money you throw into your deck, the more powerful your deck is. So when we used to play Magic, when we're drafting, before everybody gets to the location, then we'll play at the time. This was early 2000, I want to say, 2008, 2007. We would be playing a lot of Steve Jackson games because they were hot at the time, like Shaky, Munchkin, and we play a lot of the Great Down Moody, Bang. So basically, like just games that Citadel, games that take a lot of people, but then you can stop anytime. So that's when I first started playing like modern board games, card games, and then I was like, well, actually, this is probably more fun because it's more even. So that's when I started playing the modern board games. And so my first game was actually not Catan. I didn't actually play Catan until much later, but I understand that for a lot of people, that was like their first game, right? Yeah. Well, for me, it was Magic the Gathering, and the games that you play, like filler games you play before you start the draft. So I got it, and then we started playing more. So I started playing like Ticket to Ride. That was one, Seven Wonders, and then from there, I realized, hey, I'm pretty good at this. I usually win at a game that I played the first time. I would be the person who teach me the game. Yeah. So I was like, okay, well, this is making me feel pretty good. So let's keep doing this. So let's and then discover Game House. So started to play a lot more. there because I don't live very far from Game House.
Oh, okay.
So got in touch of more serious gaming, meet a lot of people there, including you, and then became more involved in the community.
Right. That's great. I see Joe's hanging out in chat. Thank you, Joe. He says that was what turned me off Magic in high school. The pay to win aspect.
Yeah.
And that's why I never I played Magic a few times back in the day. And again, it was just like I played as this is cool, but then everyone just you got to spend a lot of money to get that deck.
I want to ask Joe, have you tried the what's it called, Commander format? That's what we do now. Like me and my Magic group, we do Commander. Hi. Commander is more like you this pre-constructed deck, and every card is good. So and it's every game is a little bit different because you can only have one card in there. So that's what we do now. We still play Magic once a month with my friends, but I play a lot more board games now than Magic.
Right. Yeah. And then so how do you go from playing Magic and then you slowly start getting into modern games in your Game House? How do you go from that to creating this really great YouTube channel and all this other content?
Okay, so when I get into something, I want to learn everything about it, right? So I was a player in, I want to say 2017, 2016, I wanted to know a little bit more about games. So I started volunteering at conventions to become, volunteers at booth teaching people games, right? So, because I want to see the conventions, but I don't want to pay for it myself. So a pro tip, if you want to do that, and if you're good at communication, then, you can become a volunteer and teach people games. So I was able to see a lot more to the gaming community. And then I started seeing, well, there's a lot of people who are making content. And I was like, well, you know what? My major is graphic design, and my thesis, I actually did motion graphics. So editing is sort of like something I'm really good at. And I love, it's like a create, the will to create. And I've been teaching for a while. I haven't really done anything that's like my own art, if you will. Mm-hmm. Yep. So and my medium is the digital media. So I was like, well, you know what, I can do this. I have the know-how and I have the passion. And I see in after doing the whole volunteering thing, again, seeing a lot of content creators, and most of them don't look like me. So I decided that, maybe I should, represent the lady gamers, minorities in the community. But I'm not really good at doing how to play, because I don't personally read the rules. I like when somebody teach me the game.
That's what Rodney Smith's for. You click on Rodney's videos.
Right. Watch him play the best. And then I don't want to do run throughs because Rado's so good at, he plays two people in his videos.
Right. Yeah.
Right. So, but I'm always interested in, when I play to win, right? So for me, when I learn a game right away, my mind goes into, how do I win? So I'm always very good at getting the mechanics in a game. And then I'm always pretty good at figuring out the strategy right away.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
John said, yeah, I know. Yeah. So I was like, how about I do how to win? Because nobody else is really doing it when I started. Yep. So let's focus on strategy. This also breaks the stigma of women don't really know how to play games. Yes. So I'm not only here to play, I'm here to teach you how to win in a way. We're gonna talk about strategy. So, take a look at us a little bit differently, I guess. That's what I wanted to show in my show.
Yeah. And I think that's one of the first things I noticed was like, here you are creating this show or these videos specifically to focus on strategy. Yes. Because there was a time where I would click on YouTube like for a game, and there'd be, of course you get Rodney with Watch It Played, and then you have, Rado run through, but then there'd be all these other run throughs or playthroughs, which is fine. But then to see yours again, from an Asian American woman and talk about strategy, it was different at the time, and it's still different, and what makes it different. But the thing is, it's good too. It's not just like it's not a gimmick. You know, you're like you seriously know how to play games, and you're talking to the designers of the games and stuff. And I like seeing that. I like hearing how designers talk about how they
the inside scoops, right?
Yeah,
like how many of us want to see how the designer will play the game? Right. I do. Right.
Yep. That's right. I mean, they created it, right? They should know.
Yeah, they should know all the tricks.
Yeah. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Jackie, thanks again for talking about your journey into content creation. I'm going to shift the focus now. I want to say hi to Joe and everyone out there who's just tuning in. Thank you for joining us. My name is Ruel.
Thanks for watching.
So this is Jackie Chao of Show Me How to Win, and we are doing top 3 at 3. So we are going to play. We're not going to play. We're going to talk about our top 3 Dice Worker games. All right. So Dice Worker games are, I'm just going to jump right into it. Jackie, we have 2 lists here of top 3. Mm-hmm. We're going to go from 3 to number 1, and we're going to start with Jackie. Jackie, what's your list look like?
Well, first of all, I want to say this is actually a paradox because I hate dice and they hate me. Yeah. Right? Well, you know this.
Yes. And that's why I was so glad I was so happy you picked this topic because I know how much you hate dice.
Yeah.
And that's why I'm really interested to see what you pick because I'm assuming the games that you pick have a lot of ways to mitigate those dice rolls.
Yes. Okay. So I love worker placement games and I love themeless dry Euros because, then it's all about the mechanics, really.
Yeah.
I personally am not a theme gamer. For me, it's all about the puzzle, the challenge, the figuring out the most efficient way to do certain things in a short amount of time, and then execute it, right? Mm-hmm. So for me, worker placement games, they can become yay, GGS!
GGS in the house.
Yes. It's sometimes worker placement games can feel samey if you just get a bunch of workers and then you just place it and you go to this place, you do this, and then you go to this place and you do that. But dice workers, a lot of times there is when you roll the dice, the workers' value change, but then you figure out how to deal with it. So it's a little bit more complex than your regular worker placement game, but it doesn't really count as dice rolling for me because there's nothing random about it other than the value changes, which actually adds to the replayability of the game in my opinion. So even though dice is in there, but they're not really there.
Right. And you're the one placing the dice in a certain action spot or whatever. Yes. It's like you said, the value is going to change maybe the type of action or how many times you can do it. But yeah, you're still placing it.
Yeah.
So
my number 3, this is my controversial choice, I think.
Oh, nice. I love it. Right off the bat. I want to shout out to Book of Nerds and my buddy John Hi and Polly Demi. Thank you for joining us. Appreciate it, Paula.
Thanks for watching. Yeah. Oh, Paula's here. Paula, I love you. You're so funny.
Paula's the best.
Yes.
There she is. Hey.
She's another lady gamer representing the.
Yes.
Yeah, and she's doing her own thing, which is really cool too.
Yes.
Yeah.
We got all the GGS crew in here. I love it. Nice.
Awesome. Yeah. And not to mention GGS, one of the OGs.
Yes.
In lady content creation. Yeah.
Correct. That's
all right. My number 3.
Nice. Santa Maria.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay, so Santa Maria is one of the games I have not played. Tell us about it. Yeah.
Try to get the whole thing.
Oh, there. Nice.
So, Santa Maria is a game that it's a dice drafting game. So there's a dice pool, and then the way I play with the your own. So you get 1 dice, but then there's a public dice pool. One person rolls it, and then you draft it, right? So higher enough. So and then there's like a grid. So let's see if I can pick out a thing to show you because you haven't played it before. I want to show you.
Yeah.
Okay. So here's a board.
Okay.
You see it?
Yep.
Okay. So.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So basically, these are the public dice. The white ones, you activate the whole row.
Okay.
The columns, and then the blue ones on the side. Oh. activates the rows. So it's a tile laying dice drafting game. You are drafting tiles to place on your colony. And then, so like if you put a tile here, and then later on you put a 4, and then it'll activate the whole row. But then the dice have to stay at the bottom. So if you put a dice here, and then later on you try to do the number 6 this round, it'll get, this one will not activate because there's a dice there.
Got it.
So the timing of when you draft certain dice and how you're going to lay down your tile is the puzzle. And the game is so tight on resources that you can only hold 3 of each things. You can and you can mitigate the dice with money, but it's you pretty much feel like it's just not enough constantly. Yeah. So each decision is really hard to make, because if you take this dice, then you know the next one you want, somebody else will take it, right? Like in most dice drafting games, like what is the best thing to take? So do you take the ones that you think most people want first, or do you take the ones that is the most beneficial to you? Because the one that most everybody want might not be the best one for you. So do you hate draft, or do you not?
I was just gonna say, it's all about hate drafting. Nice.
So I like tiling games in general. I just like building something, seeing them all connect to each other, and then at the end they all form a beautiful picture.
Yeah, agreed. Nice.
I like it. Yeah. Awesome. So Santa Maria is my third choice.
All right, great. Yeah. So that's a game that's I've always heard many good things about it, but just never got around to playing it. Joe says, I like almost any game where you get to handle dice a lot. Yes. Yeah. I'm gonna go to my number 3, and I don't know if this is on your list or your honorable mentions, but I'm going with okay, spoiler alert. So I'm going to pronounce it Chao. I believe that's the correct French pronunciation. I don't know. I'm not very good at French, but or Troyes. This is a classic dice placement game. And Joe says Chao. I'm going to put it up here. Chao. Thank you, Joe. Chao. Yeah. Classic. He's doing the phonetics for us here. Classic dice placement game. I have a feeling you're going to be talking about this soon, but so I will just say that I like this game. It's it's got that Euro, dry Euro-ish feel to it, but I love the fact that it's usually not much of a game that's like super mathy. Like I feel like I'm always adding stuff or subtracting or dividing or stuff like that as you get, your resources, and you send you take your military dice, you take your, I think, is it clergy dice or
the white dice? Yeah.
The white dice. Yeah. So I'm just gonna leave it at that, because I have a feeling it's gonna be talked about real soon. But yeah, Chao is my number 3 list of Dice Worker games. Jackie, what's your number 3? Oh, number 3. Yeah. Jackie, what's next on your list?
Okay, my number 2. I think if Michelle's here, she's gonna like my pick.
Oh.
Lorenzo.
Oh, Lorenzo, nice.
Not your wife, Michelle. Michelle, the bunny Michelle.
Yeah.
Yeah, nice. This is her favorite game, Lorenzo. Nice. So, you play Lorenzo, right? I'm sure.
Love Lorenzo. And that's actually on my list of
honorable mention.
Yeah, honorable mention, yes.
So, the reason why I like Lorenzo is everybody either happy together or suffer together. When it comes to
that's so true about that game.
So in Lorenzo, for those of you who haven't played, one person rolled the dice, and then everybody has 3 workers, right? 3, and then one assistant. So there are 3 colored dice, each representing the worker you have. And if this person rolls threes and twos, then everybody has 3s and 2s and 2s. If this person roll 5 and 6s, then everybody has 5 and 6s. So we it's like miserable shared by everyone, right? Yep. So there's no complaining about, well, you roll great, I roll horrible, so my turn's gonna be bad this time. Everybody has the same problem to deal with, and it's about who deals with it the most efficient way, and who basically just kind of how their their plan works out. There's built-in hate drafting blocking in that game too. And you can just say, well, I didn't want to do it, but it's just that is how the rule is, like I didn't say you can't go there. You just have to pay extra. I just happen to go there first, right? And also just, you can really just really screw someone up if they didn't get to do the church thing, if they're trying to avoid the faith excommunicado penalty, and you block that space that they can go to, and you can really screw someone up. But you can also choose, there's like so many right? There's Paula said it's easy to blame the game. Yeah, exactly.
It's not me, it's the game.
I love that. Yeah. And I'm pretty ruthless when we play games. So a lot of times people, when I'm doing it to somebody, like they might not be able to handle it. But in this case, I can just say, well, it's not me. It's the game.
Yeah, it's the game.
This is how it is. How it is. So yeah. So that's I love that. And then there's so many strategies you can take in this game. You can go green, you can go yellow, you can try to go for or you can just try to go for that X face track and just go all the way, right?
Right. Yep, that's right.
Yeah.
What is it, like the religion track or whatever?
Yeah, you can just like if you just forget about the penalty and just go all the way up and just then you can actually get a lot of points that way. We play before where someone actually won with that strategy. They just
really
forget about yellow and green because they went last, right? So first round they're like, well, I can't produce and I don't want to pay the extra money. So you know what? Screw it. I'm just gonna go for that 20 points. I forgot how it is. And then they're just gonna go for military. And then they actually won because all of us are so worried about the faith. And then, we're spending action to get that faith point. He just completely like just screw it. So
yeah, nice.
Yeah,
all right.
Yeah. So I like cool. Lorenzo. It's a different kind of dice worker game where you don't draft and you share the misery.
That's right. The shared misery. And I love how GGS is pretty ruthless. Yeah. All right, great. So that's your number 2. I'm going to move my number 2. And this is another, well, I don't know if it's dry-ish Euro. Got The Voyages of Marco Polo. Yeah. This one, I want to shout out to my friend Theo, Geeky Gamer guy. He introduced me to this game, and it was instant love. I love this game. It's super tight, and it's actually super frustrating if you played it where you know how tough it is to move on the map. Like the movement just straight up, it's like GGS would say, it's ruthless in Marco Polo. And I know I played.
You get there really first.
Is.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, that's it. But I know the expansion fixes some of that. Like it's a little easier, to do. But yeah, Marco Polo. I love how you on the dice, like you're never really blocked from any spot. You can always go there. You just have to have the right number. You go on top, you'll take that action, and you can mitigate dice using your camels, stuff like that. But I don't know. It's just something about it. It flows really smoothly to me. It's just, everyone rolls their dice at the same time, and then you go to one spot, do the action, and then, you convert resources to get stuff, to move, to get coins, whatever. But I think my favorite part of this game is that the special abilities, like everyone gets one special ability that totally breaks the rules of the game, and you would think they're all good. Yeah. Like there's that one ability, like you don't even have to roll dice. You can set the dice to whatever you want. And when I first played it, I was like, this is insane. It's never going to work. It's totally broken, but somehow it works. So I think that's what I love about the design is all the different, player powers. I want to say hi to everyone that's joining us now. Thank you so much for joining us. My name is Ruel Gaviola. I'm here with Jackie Chao of Show Me How to Win. We're just hanging out talking. We talked about how Jackie got into modern board games. She's a fantastic content creator. And we're just talking about our top 3. What are we playing? Dice Worker games. So let me put that back up there. So we've talked about my number 3 and number 2. I'm going to throw it back to Jackie. Jackie, before we get to our number 1s, can we talk about some honorable mentions, ones that didn't make our list?
Yes. So one of the games that I was really impressed by was Madeira. Okay. Yeah. So I played. My friend taught me that game, and after we played, it was a 4-hour experience with a full game. Everybody just played it the first time, so it took a long time, but it was very satisfying. The puzzles were great, but I cannot imagine having to teach it and set it up and spend another 4 hours. Yeah. So I want to talk about like why I love the games on my list actually, because I don't think it, because I like games that have moderate amount of setup, easy to teach, and takes less than 2 hours to play, even at a full game. I love complicated games, but I don't personally keep those in my collection because I don't necessarily want to be the one teaching it to people.
Right.
Since, again, English is not my first language, like reading the rule books, that my get out of jail card is like, it's not my first language, you read it. Somebody else read it. I can't read English. So what does this word mean? Mechanics? So so that's my criteria keeping a game. So I like games that are easy to set up, doesn't take too long to teach and play. Another one is I like games that have simple mechanics but difficult decision making. Again, that goes into the easy to teach. But then again, there's something really elegant to the simple games with not that many actions you can do, but
yeah, there's Michelle.
There's Michelle. There's the Michelle who loves Lorenzo. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So, games that have simple actions for you, but then you have to it's really up to the players to decide how to do it. And then I like games that have many routes to victory. So things that are not linear. That's the kind of games I keep in my collection. So Madeira takes too long. I love Teotihuacan. That game there's too much setup. Just imagine stacking. It takes like at least a minute or two to stack all those tiles to make the step pyramid.
And I know Book of Nerds, John Gonzalez, he's a huge fan of the game. Both those games were Teotihuacan was also on my list of honorable mentions.
Yeah, Tails great. Tails a great game.
It's a fantastic game.
The way how the dice grow up and then they retire, they ascend. Right. That's really unique, but it's just it's not a game that I want to set up for people.
Gotcha. Yeah.
Somebody can set it up for me. I'll play. Right.
Right. Yeah.
And then Coimbra, same thing. Coimbra, the setup is a little bit too long, and there's too much to explain to when you're teaching. Marco Polo's great. I just never got a copy.
Oh, okay.
I just never got a copy. And Castles of Burgundy, I used to own a copy, but I don't anymore. So those are my honorable mentions.
Nice. Yeah. Those are all great games. And a couple of those are on my list as well. So we talked about honorable mentions. What is your number one? I should do a drum roll or something.
You took the drama out of it.
There it is. Yeah.
I love this game. This game is great. The first time I played it was at a game house, I think. I was like, oh, what is this game? It looks really it has really unique art.
Yes.
Very different. It looks very stylized, and I'm personally a fan of this type of art.
Oh,
okay. So I was like, okay,
medieval art or whatever.
Yeah, okay. This looks really fun. So we played it, and I don't think we played it right.
Wow.
I don't think we played it right. And I was like, oh man, I really want to play that game again. And for me, that's rare because usually when I played a game, when I'm done with it, okay, I feel like I'm done. I figure it out. Let's play the next one. But with Trois, I want to play right away again, and I want to try having different objective cards. So in Trois, there's like a little deduction element to it because everyone gets a scoring card at the beginning, and then but other people don't know what you have. But then that's the scoring condition for everyone. So if you can figure out what other people are holding and go for those elements too, then you get to score as well. So there's a little bit of deduction. There's a little bit of hiding what you have, try to add all cool. Oh, I didn't put this here just because, the church is going to get scored. Right. No, I just have a white dice left. That's what I'm going to do. So, there's a little bit of that bluffing as well. Mm-hmm. And it's just so elegant, so easy to set up, right? But then every game is different because depending on how your dice is going to come out. And then also, just because you roll poorly doesn't mean it's necessarily bad because now your dice are safe. People are not going to come and buy your dice. Right? Because in that game, you can actually spend money and buy other people's dice. So Michelle rolled a bunch of sixes. Okay, I will give you $2 to take that 6.
Yeah.
And Michelle's gonna be like, ew.
And that's what I love about that game, that you can, use your money to get other people's dice. I always think that's a funny thing to do.
Yeah, but if you roll poorly or you just roll like medium dice, then nobody cares about yours, right? Mm-hmm. So, or you can use your renown to flip your number 1, but only you can do it. So, I love how they mitigate.
Yeah.
Amanda said, LOL. Yeah, it's funny because there's that little bit of interaction between gamers that you don't know if it's coming, because it's an option they can do, but they don't have to do it. So you can hire other people's dice, and it's a point salad, if you will, because every round you earn victory point, but there's also the end game scoring element. So it's just very satisfying to play. Everything you do, you get instant reward, but you also get that big bonus at the end of the game.
Yeah.
And that's the kind of thing I like. And the expansion, Lady of Twa, just brings it over the top. It's just that's what an expansion should do.
Yeah, and I haven't played with the expansion yet.
So it just gives you extra locations off to the walls. You can go to the walls, and there's extra locations, and then there's purple dye, which is wild, and people can't get your purple dye.
Oh, okay.
So you got one more dice, and then it's red, yellow, and white. So it's purple.
Okay.
That's how when you mix those in board game terms, then you purple. Yeah.
Now, again, I mentioned it earlier when I talked about it, but I feel like I'm always doing like a ton of math in Chwa. Is that your experience? Like, I don't know why it is. I feel like the cards I always get.
Because you have to actually you have to add and divide, right?
Yeah. Cool.
But this is sport games. Math is required.
Yeah, that's part of the thing. All right, great. Thank you, Jackie. So I'm going to go to my honorable mentions. You mentioned a couple of them. You talked about, so Lorenzo was actually one of mine, and then you talked about Castles of Burgundy, and one of mine was also Pulsar 2849, which I think is another great game. And I was like super close to putting it on. It actually would have made my top 3, but I don't own a copy. My buddy Daryl, he owns a copy. So until he gives me his copy, it's going to stay off my list. Another one that I really, really enjoy, but I've only played it twice. And I think this goes along the lines of what you're talking about, how certain games are just too long to set up and to teach, is Tricarion.
Oh.
I really enjoy that game, but gosh, there's like so many
things. Is that a dice game?
It is. It's a dice worker placement game. Yeah.
Huh. And I just remember the setup is tiring.
It is.
All the little pieces you had to put on the card, they have to match.
That's right. Yeah. It's insane. But I do. Yeah. Actually, wait. What am I? Maybe I'm getting mixed up. Does Tricarion have dice? It does have dice, but it's not dice workers. My bad. That's just a worker placement game. It does have dice, but it's not. Okay. Yeah. Okay. So it's off my list, folks. Yeah, it's exhausting, but I really like it. It's not a dice placement game. Forget I just said that. Rewind, edit this, whatever you want to do.
It's live.
It's live, right? So yeah, gamer card revoked. Oh, sorry, Paula. I totally let everyone down. That's it.
Yeah.
So my let's see. We talked about Lorenzo, Pulsar. Here's a dice game. Euphoria, Build a Better Dystopia. From Games.
Oh, that was another one that was long. It took a long time to finish.
Oh, really? Oh, okay. That's interesting because in my experience, I've been able to knock out games like in under an hour most of the time.
With 4 people? Euphoria?
Yeah. Hour, maybe hour 15 at most, but yeah.
It took us like 3 hours. It was like 3 people. That's a lot of times.
Really?
A great game. For example, for me, like Food Chain Magnet, it was ruined in my book because my first game took 4 hours. There was one player who just does not get it, and I don't want to play it again because it'll just remind me of that first experience, how exhausting the game was.
Yeah, right.
I can't play Food Chain Magnet again. Everybody's like, "Oh, but it's a great game." Yeah, but for me, it's just it's an exhausting game.
Yeah, and I think Food Chain Magnet is one of the games that I haven't played yet because I've heard horror stories about that, and
it's crazy.
Some of these comments are great.
I play Antiquity.
I haven't played Antiquity yet. That's funny.
Yeah, it was another one of those games, but it didn't take us 4 hours to play Antiquity.
Okay. Yeah. One of these days I'll get to that. GGS says Food Chain Magnate is 100% worth it though.
Yeah, you should play it once at least, and then
Okay.
the pain will become yours to own.
Yeah. Paula is hardcore. Oh, okay. So I've talked about my honorable mentions. My number one, and this is a funny one. Dun, 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 dun. I picked a game that actually I don't even know if it's like my favorite dice place worker game, but for whatever reason, I always have fun with it. It's not the most complex, but I love space themes. So this one, Alien Frontiers. It's
really
it's so much fun. It's like. Especially with the expansion. I should preface this by saying I like it only with the factions expansion where everyone has like their own player ability.
When did it come out? It's old school.
This is really old school. This is like, well, for board gaming, it's old school. It's like 2010, I think, or 2011. So almost 10 years ago. But this one I like. It's dice placement. You're rolling dice to get resources and you're flying around different parts of the planet. You're trying to colonize this planet and what else do you do? It's area majority, which I do like area majority games, but you know what sold me on this game? And it's such a stupid little thing, but I love them so much. I don't know if you can see it. These little things that you place on the planet. I mean, these are great. They look like
great components.
Yeah, it's like something you get out of a gumball machine, right? Let's see. Yeah, I think it's 2010. Yeah, it's one of those games. I don't know why. I think it was one of the earlier games that I played when I first got into the hobby, and it just sort of blew my mind. I was like, oh my gosh, you can do all this cool stuff. And then, you play, and it's like, it's probably not the best one out of all these games or the most complex, but I always enjoy the theme. It's space exploration. I'm a big sci-fi nerd. I love that stuff. And I can teach what you were talking about earlier about being able to teach a game pretty easily. This one, I can, teach with my eyes closed. It's very
it's not super complex.
It really isn't. It's a race to, I think it's like 15 points or something. It's just a straight race. But with the factions expansion, it gives you these abilities where you can, use other people's abilities, which is sort of cool. You land your ship on their spot. You can take that. So that's something again, Alien Frontiers, it's one of my favorites for the purpose.
You really are a sci-fi fan. You love
it. Is I love. I mean, I don't know if you can see back there. I've got
Twilight
Imperium. Yeah, all the stuff. Michelle Ridge asks, "Have you played Quantum, the dice fighting game?" Yes, Quantum is excellent, but it's out of print, I think. So I haven't been able to. I played it like twice at my local gaming group. But
I avoid playing any dice games where the dice is actually doing what it's doing. Okay, like it actually determines if you win or not. I don't like those.
So you're not a fan of like Yahtzee or
No, I like to roll dice and they just stay there and somebody else can suffer. Not me. Or everyone suffer together.
Right. I think that's the neat thing about Alien Frontiers is that you roll the dice and you place your little dice worker on an area. But again, you're not totally blocked from there. You can move people out if you have the right number. But then there's ways to get resources that let you, mitigate and flip the dice over or re-roll them or whatever.
Yeah, I remember that pretty much doesn't matter what you roll, like high numbers or low numbers, you can do something with it.
Yeah.
But a lot of times in most dice games, you want to roll high or you want to roll low, and if you don't, you're screwed. Yeah.
Right.
That's what I don't like about dice rolling. But some people like the luck aspect of it.
Yep, that's right. That's,
control freak like me, we want to control it.
Oh, Jackie, this has been so much fun. Thank you so much. We have talked about your journey in the board gaming. We've also talked about the top 3 dice worker games. Anything else before we get going? Where can people find you? Let's talk about where people can find you.
So my videos, we publish every Monday, and you guys can find it at Show Me How to Win on YouTube, and you guys can follow us on Instagram, Twitter, and we have a website too. On the websites, we post our strategy articles on there. Yeah, but YouTube is where you'll find most of our stuff. Twitter, we announce what we publish on Twitter.
Okay.
That's about it. And again, the whole English is not my first language thing. So we don't really, our social media presence is not great, but if you want to find out what's new, then follow us,
Definitely. And folks, if you're looking for strategy tips, this is the person to talk to. She knows how to win, and she will show you how to win. Before we get going, I just want to say thanks again to everyone for joining us.
Thank you.
Yeah, really appreciate spending part of your day with us here. I'm going to be back over on Facebook Live tonight with my family at 7:30. We are playing Ship Shape tonight. We play with my family. We play a game every weeknight at 7:30 as Tabletop Tonight. Joe, thanks for joining us. Everybody in chat, thanks for hanging out and chatting with us. Really appreciate it. Have a great day, everybody. On behalf of Jackie, thank you, and we'll see you next time.
Thank you, everyone.
Bye-bye. Bye.
Bye.